I wrote Iscrizione to the memory of Steven Stucky in 2016. I was devastated by his death. He was one of my closest friends and an invaluable collaborator during my tenure in Los Angeles as the music director. Steve and I bonded on many subjects. Perhaps most importantly, and this is something you can hear in Iscrizione, was our shared love and respect for the great Polish composer Witold Lutosławski. Steve was one of the foremost Lutosławski scholars and wrote a book about his harmonic techniques, which is now seen as the definitive issue on the subject. It's impossible to capture the personality of such an important person and a close friend in a 4-minute piano piece. So I wasn't even trying to. But there are passages in Iscrizione that Steve could have written. I'm sure about that. The material in Iscrizione can be divided into two groups, roughly. There is a diatonic, sad, very bare, slow material that starts the piece and also ends it. And then there's a more active, more anguished, almost angry quintuplet movement with a drone in the left hand that somehow expresses the pain and the anger I felt when I lost one of my closest friends. It starts with a little greeting to Steve and ends with a similar kind of greeting. In this case, it's a farewell.
Like many of us, when Steve Stucky died, my world was shattered. I didn't know what to do. I kept on thinking of the African-American spiritual Steal Away, which says, steal away, steal away, steal away home. I ain't got long to stay here. And I made it into a piece for Gloria. I thought I would play the tune for you so you can hear what she does with it. It's usually really slow spiritual, but I made it fast, with the help of some rhythms from the Central African Republic. I also took it up a few octaves, took it down a few octaves, did some reharmonization, and what Gloria does with it is simply magical. I hope you enjoy it. Thanks a lot.
I wanted to write a waltz because when I was finishing my tenure at the LA Phil, I remembered having handed over to Andre Previn a piece by Steve Stucky called Waltzes, which was the first connection of Steve and Andre and led to his long tenure in LA. And I wanted to write a waltz which started bravely and simply, and then turned into a kind of a protest or explosion, which to me meant impatience and outrage at a life cut short, precious life cut short. So that's my minute about Steve and Waltz and a very sad loss.
I consider myself very lucky to have studied with Steve Stucky. He was such a dedicated teacher to all of his students, and he had such an ability to bind us as a community of fellow musicians. Musically speaking, he gave me something very new at the time when I was a young developing composer. And that was first and foremost about harmony. Until then, I think I equated harmony with all the other musical elements such as timbre, dynamics, melody, accompaniment, themes. But through him, I started to see harmony as something that can be the foundation for all those other things. Of course, I'm oversimplifying, but with this wonderful task of memorializing him through a short piece, I wanted to capture that momentous learning experience for me. So I created this interlude that is about a chord progression. It's really about harmonic evolution, and that is realized through this right hand arpeggiated figuration that is non-stop throughout the entire piece. And underneath it is the left hand slow moving elegy in the style of Britten, especially his serenade for tenor horn and strings. And that was my way of singing this elegy, a song for him, memorializing him and his warm spirit that emanated for so many of us.